Done and dusted in 3 days. A Caribbean capitulation on day 3 in Dominica has given India a thumping win to kickstart a new World Test Championship cycle. An innings and 141 runs they win by. West Indies managing only 280 runs across 2 innings. Ashwin with 7 in the second innings to go with his 5 in the first, 12 for in the match. Spinners running riot. It's all ended very early. Welcome to ESPN Cricinfo Match Day. We have Deep Dasgupta joining us. Deep, there was a time when India declared halfway through this day where we were wondering that, okay, maybe they are fearing a bit of rain on day 4 and day 5 and they want to have enough time. Turns out they just wanted a weekend to themselves to take the sides of Dominica.
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? I mean, listen, it's a beautiful part of the world. If you can get a couple of days off and that to a weekend, then why not help yourself with it? And obviously, I mean, with a lot of help from the West Indian batters as well. I mean, that was a proper capitulation.
Yeah, we will have to spend some more time. Might we also thank these players because we also get our
Yeah,
weekend.
it's pretty late at night.
Yeah, I'm sure we won't miss our company on Saturday and Saturday night, Sunday night at this time. But no, to look at India, I know there's a lot to dissect about West Indies, and people will say, okay, what is the opposition? But you only play what's in front of you, and you
Yeah.
have to doff your hat for what was a thoroughly clinical performance where they pretty much dominated from ball one.
Absolutely. I think apart from losing the toss, I don't think anything went against India. I mean, and a lot of credit to the bowlers, firstly, and then the batters. I mean, a complete domination of this test match from ball one till the end. And like you said, I mean, you can't really. I mean, you're only as good as your opposition is. So I mean, you can't really blame the Indian side for anything. I mean, they were clinical, they were professional, they did their best, and got a result.
Yeah, let's look at those bowlers first then. The signs were ominous for West Indies, honestly, when we saw Rakeem Cornwall turning the ball the way he was when he finally did come back into
Yeah,
play on day 3. And you just knew Ashwin was sitting in the dressing room, licking his lips,
yeah,
waiting for the prospect. And he went and did it again. The sixth time he's managed to take 5 fours in both innings. Now in all Test cricket, there's only Rangana Herath and Mutaya Muralidharan who've done so more often.
yeah. It's unbelievable, isn't it? I mean, 5 and 7, 12. Obviously, I mean, the conditions were extremely favorable for the spinners. But then again, this just again highlights how good Ravichandran Ashwin is and has been over the years, and again, why he should be one of the first names up on that playing 11.
Yeah, I wonder how many people will continue to think, what if he had played, even though those were significantly different conditions. Let's have a word on Ravindra Jadeja too. You look at his figures, as usually happens a lot of times with him when Ashwin runs away with the wickets. You look at his figures, the wickets aren't as many, but 35 overs bowled in the game and an economy under 2 per over, chipped in with 5 wickets in the game. These two together get a surface like this. There's not much to say that we haven't said before.
Absolutely, and there's nothing different or anything new that we haven't seen before from these two. I mean, they obviously, I mean, they complement each other really well. If Ashwin doesn't get you, obviously Jadeja will, and if there's an opportunity, then if these two can't, then Aksar might. If he's part of the playing 11. So I think this is a really, really solid performance from both the spinners, Ashwin and Jadeja. And they're so good together, and especially when there's a little bit of help from the surface.
Yeah, and I'm just wondering now that you mention Aksar, the second test is at Port of Spain, which
Yeah,
historically has also been one of the venues that favors spin. It has been India's favorite venue over
yeah.
the many decades they've traveled to West Indies. Uh, from both sides, could India now consider playing Aksar as well? And if you're West Indies, what are you thinking going into that test?
Uh, Listen, as far as West Indies is concerned, they've got to pull up their socks, especially with the batting. Yes, your bowling unit has to kind of get you those wickets and all, but then not good enough. 170, 150 both innings. I mean, it's just not good enough. I do understand the pitches. This particular pitch wasn't great to bat on, but then I would expect the Port of Spain pitch to be a lot better as far as batting is concerned. It's more traditional as far as test venues are concerned in the Caribbean. So we might get a better surface, and I'm hoping we will get a better surface at Port of Spain. But uh, there would be a few changes, especially batting is concerned. I think bowling wise, I still think they bowled all right. They were disciplined, the best they could do on this surface. Their strength is definitely not spin bowling, and obviously, so this surface did not suit the bowling unit as far as West Indies is concerned. But batting wise, we might see a few changes. I believe Roston Chase might be available, even Kyle Mayers might be available. Mackenzie, the other youngster, I think he's only 21. He might be available, maybe one of the first names to be considered if they're looking to change the batting lineup. So I see a few changes in that batting order as far as West Indies is concerned.
Yeah, and just to spend a little more time on how they went about this game, a lot
Yeah,
of times you might look at the name, and we discussed this in the build up to the game, that a lot of people might not be aware of West Indies Test batters, since most of them, this is not the complement of players that feature in their white ball cricket.
yeah,
But it's not like some of them are short on experience. You have a captain in Craig Brathwaite who was playing his 86th Test match,
yeah.
vice captain Jermaine Blackwood 55th Test. Neither of them crossed 20 in either of their innings, and in both the innings, it is the absolute rookie, the debutant Alec Athanas, who ends up as the top scorer. So you have to question: are you wondering, is it too scathing to say that maybe the batting is not exactly at the level that international cricket operates at?
I mean, it seems that way for sure. And I mean, to be fair, if you look at the numbers and if you look at their record over the years, I mean, if you're talking about Craig Brathwaite or even Blackwood, I mean, look at their test averages, and that'll tell you a story. So obviously, I mean, it hasn't been good enough in the past few years, and it's not definitely not good enough. And uh, listen, I mean, it'll be really easy to kind of be critical and maybe at times overcritical, but I guess. Uh, you've also got to think about the whole process, the whole system there is in West Indies cricket right now. So I think you've got to delve deeper when you talk about West Indies cricket, and especially red ball West Indies cricket. I think yeah, just talking about the players would be superficial. I think we need to delve deeper and figure out the systematic issues that cricket West Indies have.
Yep, lots to ponder for West Indies in the long run as well, and of course in the immediate run where they have a second test to prepare for. They will get a couple of extra days now to do so. Just touching up, I mean, halfway through day three, I had a huge list of questions ready on the Indian batting. That now seems uh, back in the past, but I'll still touch upon the one notable innings of the day, which was Virat Kohli.
Yeah.
Notable for its size in that he ended with 76. But having started the day on 36, this was rather strange and scratchy. There were multiple chances offered. Runs seemed to be at a premium for Kohli while he was batting on what was admittedly a tough pitch to score on.
Yeah.
What was your assessment of how Kohli looked?
Listen, we spoke about this yesterday as well in terms of the pitch and the pitch, the pace, and how the pitch is playing dictates how the pace of the game would be. And I think Virat's innings is a great example of no matter how good you are, you could be one of the best in the world, but if the pitch doesn't offer you much, you will struggle. And again, going back to the point that we've made before about the discipline aspect of West Indies bowling. Maybe they did not pick as many wickets as they would have liked, but they've been rather disciplined. And again, that innings from Virat, I think again, a innings of attrition. That's the kind of pitch this was, and it's very difficult to get into a flow on a pitch like this. It will always look scratchy, no matter how well you're batting. So so that's all I've got to say. I think it still for me was a very good innings, keeping in mind the conditions and how tough it was to score runs. I think he still kind of hung in there, and you could see that hunger to get a big innings going. But you never set on a surface like this. You never set as a batter because this you really can't predict the turn, you can't predict the bounce or the pace of the pitch. So yeah, so I still say it was a good innings.
Deep, you had blocked your weekend for us. What are you going to do now on your free Saturday and Sunday?
I really don't know. My evenings are gone now. I mean, my weekend evenings were planned around India West Indies test match, but I'll find something.
Yeah, I'm sure you will. As will we. Thank you, Deep, for your company through this first test. We look forward to your time and thoughts through the second as well. That does it from us on our coverage of the first test on ESPN Cricinfo Match Day. Be sure to join us before the second test in Port of Spain.